Good morning, everyone. I am Gina from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am coming to you live from the Hive. So when you pop on this morning, say good morning and tell me where you're coming from. Today's class is the May Technique class, and we'll be working with, oh my goodness, Beauty of Layers, or Layers of Beauty, sorry. There we go. So it comes with the masks, it comes with stamp set and dies. So that's what we'll be working on today. But first, while we're waiting for people to pop on and say hello, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what has been going on and what I have coming up. First of all, last Saturday was National Scrapbook Day. So I hosted an event online that we created with the Flowers and Frames DSP. 2 scrapbook pages, 4 cards, and 2 3D projects. Those 3D projects and the cards and the scrapbook pages, that kit is still available until May 18th. I will take orders till May 18th, then I will ship kits out after that. The cost of the class is $50 plus $10 for shipping. And I'm going to turn around and show you guys what we have. So this is the Frames and Florals DSP, and it comes with 3 pages of DSP. It comes with 2 pages that has die cuts like this. So there's frames, there's florals, all sorts of pieces that come in here. There's these little tiny florals here, and there's also a page that has mats on it. So that all comes in the DSP pack. You'll also get a pack of this diagonal ribbon. And a pack of the Pretty Peacock and Petal Pink Gems. Oh my goodness. So that is what is included, and then you'll get any cardstock or anything else that needs die cutting or whatever included in your kit. And these are the projects that I made. The projects are, let me just double check where I'm supposed to be here. Okay. Here is our layout that we did. And there's actually another piece. I didn't glue it down. There was a matte piece that went right here. So you would have 3 places to put a photo. This is actually a frame. That's part of the paper pack. And I want to stick a picture down here. So I left that unglued also. And then there's another one that goes up here. We brought in the butterflies and a really pretty die that I'll show you comes in another new kit. And then we did this one. You could actually flip it around either way. So this is all pieces that were included in the embellishment pack of it, or die cut pieces. So there was a whole sheet of just this kind of stuff. And then I cut out just 4 of these different leaves just to add some different texture, and then added some gems around. So we have all of that in the scrapbook layout. Then I made, these are called little sour cream pouches, and I didn't glue mine down because I want to give this to someone and I want to put treats in it. And you could just punch a hole in here and tie some ribbon on top, and that might be what I do, but you adhere this down through here and then you fold it on the top the opposite direction. So you can fill these with probably some Ghirardellis or the Lindt truffles, something like that. And here was our second 3D project that we made. Just a cute little pocket envelope that is perfect for, you know, a mini-sized candy bar or a Ghirardelli. Any of those type of little mini treats could go in there. And then we have the 4 cards we made to go with it. So these are the 4 cards, and this is all from the DSP pack. These are the die cuts. The only thing that you need is a sentiment stamp and I send you the cardstock, the additional cardstock that goes with it. So that is all you need to complete this kit, okay? And then you have all of this. Like I said, I have all of this in here that is left over for you to create more beautiful cards or scrapbook layouts, whichever is your favorite to do, or create all of them. And here's the leftover paper that I have. So in this pack, there is so many possibilities. Okay, so I have that, and like I said, that goes until May 18th. And then also, which is coming up, I just realized that is this upcoming, the following weekend here. So then I'm going to be doing a stamp-a-stack with this paper. The suite is called Wildly Flowering, and this is the DSP. I will be making either 4 or 5 designs, and we'll make a total of 16 cards. So you'll get this pack of paper, and I'm just going to show you what this paper looks like. Really pretty. We got a lot of the 23, 25 in colors here. So we have Moody Mauve going on. I believe this might be Misty Moonlight. Wild Wheat. Not a color that I thought I would like, but some of the color combinations that Stampin' Up! Has been coming out with are really pretty with it. So these are the colors here. And in that, you're going to get a pack of these gems here, and this is the stamp set. Just find the framelits here, or dies here. This is the coordinating stamp set and dies that we'll be using to go with that set, okay? So then we have that, and that's coming up not this Sunday, so this is Mother's Day weekend, is going to be that Sunday. So I believe that Sunday is the 19th. And that class will go live at 9:00 a.m. So if you want your kits, let me know. And then I thought I would just show all of you a few peeks at some of the new product. I showed some of it live on Saturday, and I thought I would share with you a few more because we have some really awesome stuff in the catalog. And now at first I saw this DSP. This is the 2 Market. And I'm like, oh yeah, this would be cool. I'd like to do some scrapbook layouts maybe for, you know, planting a garden. But I wasn't in love with it. But I love the other side of this paper. So always remember, there's 2 sides to our DSP. So we have a little bit, it looks like Blackberry Bliss. And there's little shopping bags here. Looks like garden green. So just some really basic neutrals, and we even have floral on that side. Looks like some pumpkin pie and maybe peach pie going on. I probably use this one a lot. This really pretty floral. Some wood grain with some more floral and some more floral. So really cool DSP in this pack. And then another DSP pack that we have, which is probably my favorite, is, oh, I didn't flip the camera. Oh, I do. I have the camera flipped. Okay. I thought I was backwards, guys. I'm sorry. This is the Full of Life DSP, and I love bold colors. And so this one you will probably see me use a lot of. I just love all the colors going on in here. And you have like a watercolor wash back here and a sunburst. Look at how pretty. It screams summer. Look at this orange. Little ombre going on. So really, really pretty, bold, fun colors. Okay, so that is this kit. And with this suite comes this stamp set here. So it's called Friends for Life. And this was the friend I used in the scrapbook layout last Saturday, and it has die cuts that cut friends, and this was actually the leaf that I used. So this is going to be a fun class coming up. I'm thinking in June. We'll see what the plans are. So really fun, sweet, and I think it has some iridescent ribbon and gems that go with it also. So very excited for these products. Oh, and with the Stamp-A-Stack, this was the jute ribbon that is also, or jute twine that's gonna go with the Wilding flowering set, okay? So I thought I would just bring in a few other things. This one here, oh my goodness, I can't wait to make some stuff with this. This is called Round We Go, and this you can make rosettes. We could turn these into flowers. A really fun all occasion set, and I believe I'm going to do something with this for June's scrapbook layout. So very excited for this. We also have Spotlight in Nature, and it comes with these beautiful circle dies, and there's actually another page behind this so these have cool little designs in them. And of course, who doesn't love some butterflies, right? Good morning, Maria, welcome. So we have sketch butterflies, nice sentiments in here, and of course with some butterfly die cuts. So we'll be doing something with that. And we have Unbound Love, and I think I have the labels that go with it at home, but this is a nice, if you're looking for sentiments, this set is perfect for that. And it comes with dies that have a ton of different labels. So that goes with that. And this one was a $1 Million set by Renee Conkey. And she has Choose Happy. And I think I'm going to make, I thought this was really cute little set. Has a little bit of everything. And I thought I would make something, a calendar with this. And I'm actually going to do that for Christine's Summer Fun event that she has in June. So we have that coming up. And then, of course, some cool embossing folders. But if you guys haven't noticed, they have made these, let's have a glue dot here, giant, I don't know what size these are, but giant embossing folders. So I'm excited to play with these and add these to my scrapbook pages. So we'll see what happens with this, but oh, I love this circle embossing folder. It's so cool. And then for today, we are bringing in the Simply Said stamp set. This one has a little bit of every saying that you're looking for. So I brought that along to coordinate with the Layers of Beauty. Now, Layers of Beauty is this stamp set here, and it comes with dies, and then it comes with masks. Right here, so we have 5 masks in here, okay? So this is what we're gonna be working with today. Now, one more thing before we get going and get stamping is we have a wonderful promotion going on right now. If you would like to be a hobbyist, someone who likes to use the product but maybe would like to get them for a discount, or maybe you want to do something with this and turn it into a business, and it's a great way to make friends and that. So our starter kit costs $125. I should say it's $125 worth of product. You get it for $99. You get additional business kit. And along with that, this time they're giving away, you're going to get a pack of the in color papers. You are going to get the markers, the ribbons, and I believe a pack of the ink pads. Okay, so wait a minute, I gotta think about that. I think it's the markers, the cardstock, the DSP, and the ink pads. So you're gonna get all of that included. So that's an additional value to your kit. So that runs through May. So if anyone would like to join my team, I would love to have you join me. So how about we get started and we'll get stamping. I have lots of techniques to show you. We're gonna be using our blends. We are going to be using our blending brushes. We are going to watercolor, emboss. I have all sorts of fun things for you guys today. So let's get started. Okay, the first card I have here is going to be a triple panel card. This was a technique that was really popular for a long time. You know, we kind of go through cycles of techniques. Something becomes all the rage, and then it kind of goes to the side, and then we bring it back. And so we're going to do a triple panel card. And with this card, our base, we're using soft seafoam. Now, how many of you use soft seafoam? It's not a color that I use very often. I tend to go with bold, bright colors, but I have really come to like this a lot, especially that was in this kit here. They use soft seafoam, pumpkin pie, petal pink with a soft seafoam and pretty peacock and granny apple. Such a pretty color. I guess I have never realized what great potential that has. Okay, so now we have our panels here. So our panels consist of a traditional mat, 5 1/4 by 4. So that fits on our card like this, okay? I'll read my dimensions here for you guys. Then we have a piece of soft seafoam that is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. And you can see I tried to save paper here and did my die cuts out of the middle. We have a white piece that's 4 1/4 by 3. And we have another soft seafoam that is 3 1/2 by 2 1/4, and a white piece that is 3 1/4 by 2. Okay, so now we're going to take our soft seafoam mats and set them aside, and we're going to line up our white pieces, kind of center them. What I did here is I took my liquid glue and I just put one tiny little dot, very tiny, and center that on our white mat here. Okay, then I'm going to put another tiny little dot, and center that. Like that, okay? Then I'm going to bring in a little bit of washi tape just to make sure that when I lift up my stamp, they all stay together. And there's not going to be any, I guess, ink right here, so I'm okay to put my washi tape here. I'm just going to do that. Okay, and then you're going to use this giant stamp. Oh my goodness, look at this stamp. So this pretty much will take up the front of a card. That's how large this stamp set is. Okay, and we're gonna bring in our new basic beige. Okay, and ink it up. Well, hello, Melanie. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. Now, guys, I really appreciate when you like and share, just because I'm trying to grow and expand my business. So anytime you do that, I truly appreciate that. It allows me to bring you more videos. So, okay, so now we have all of our pieces together. We've inked up in our basic beige. Hello from Florida. And we're going to stamp our image. I've got it upside down here. Like, why does this not fit? And I'm going to move my washi tape just a little bit. I don't want to. Okay. Now the main thing with this, because it's such a large stamp, you want to make sure that you press firmly on a stamp like this. And because we have 3 different layers, you really want to make sure that you're using firm pressure. Okay, let's hope we did it. I know the first time I did this, I didn't stamp my edges or push my edges down very well, so I did not get a good crisp image. There we go. I did it, ta-da! Okay, and I'm gonna keep all 3 of these pieces together. So there we go. You can see each layer has a little bit, and it's okay. You're gonna, when you stamp this, it's not gonna be completely perfect. You see a little bit missing on this edge right here. That is okay because your mat is going to cover that up, okay? Then the ink colors we're gonna be using are going to be Pretty in Pink and Bubble Bath. And I'm going to get just a couple pieces of scrap paper real quick. Because I'm going to make a mess. Jean, that's a big stamp. It is. It uses our largest block. I think this is the F block. Yes, this is the F block. So it uses the largest block that we have. And I'm going to bring, and this might be easier for you guys to actually see. So our mask here, if you've never used these masks before, they have a notch in the top and on one side of the mask. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can kind of see right here. There is a raised number only on one side. That is the top. If you flip it over and it's smooth, there's no number there. That's the back of it, okay? So we definitely want to have the front like so. And they're numbered. So there's 5 of these here. So we're gonna start with number 1. I'm gonna put these in order here. So we got 5, 3, 2, and 4. There we go. So the first color that we're gonna use is our Bubble Bath. Okay, we're gonna line our mask up. Like so. Okay, so now I know my notch is over here along with my number 1. So when I put each piece down, I'm going to know where to put it because I'm going to put a piece of washi tape right above here. So this is my line. That tells me where it goes. And then I'm just going to bring in a couple more pieces of washi tape and put it here and here. All right, we're going to start with our Bubble Bath. And that's going to be our light color to start with. And I always ink up my blending brush and tap it over here. I can always add more color, but it's hard to remove color once you have it on. So we're going to start very lightly. I want this to be really light and go in circular motions. And I'm just using the pink on the large flowers right now. Good morning, Deanne and Crystal, welcome. Okay, so we just have a light coating And then to clean my brush, all I do is wipe it off on my paper. And then I'm also going to bring in Lemon Lolly. And we're going to color the little daisies in here. Now you could use a Post-it note and cover up your large flowers here so you don't get yellow on it, but I'm okay if they blend a little bit. So that's our first mask. So we'll bring this up. Remember, we kept this one here because that's our starting point. And I probably should put a little piece here just so I don't move. My mat. Okay, we're going to bring in mask number 2. And this is where we lined it up before. And you may need to wiggle it just a little bit to make it fit. Okay, and this is where we're going to bring in our Pretty in Pink. And don't use your yellow brush in your pink. I almost did that. So, okay, so we did a light coating of that on there. We'll bring in our yellow again to do more on our daisies, and I'm going to go full strength. Now that's mask number 2. And to clean these off, all you need to do is rinse these. And like I said, just remember that your emboss number is up. It'll be an easy way to remember then which way these go. And then I'm going to bring in some Daffodil Delight. To do my little centers, and I'm going to go full strength with this. And then we're bringing in our Pretty in Pink again, and I'm going to go full strength here. Well, maybe I'm going to tap it off a little bit. Okay, so now our flowers will be done, and the next one that we'll be doing are the leaves. So look at how our flowers are just coming alive. So cool, right? Okay, for our green leaves, we are going to use soft sea foam. Well, I thought I grabbed it. Good thing Chris is always here to save me when I forget things. Oh my goodness. Okay, so once again, bring your mask in, line it up over here. Now what I do with my brushes is I kind of keep, like, I have, this is my yellow one, this is my pink one, this is my green one, and I kind of use the same brush. I don't always have to clean them, you know, every single time I use them and then they're all wet or, you know, whatever. So I'm just making sure it's clean by rubbing off here. Our first layer, we're going to go in very lightly. Good morning, Sandy. How are you this morning? Now, for those of you who ordered kits, this kit is available until the 18th. Those of you who have ordered kits already, I will be getting all kits shipped out today. So I think I have like 5 classes over the last 2 weeks here, and all of them will be shipped today. So the scrapbook class, technique class, morning create, I forget which ones. So there's 5 of them. They're all going out today. Woohoo! Okay, so I did a light on the leaves here. And the next one, I'm going to go full strength. Does anyone have any questions about the masks? Just want a little bit more color. Oops, I moved it. Be careful. Hold these down good or they will slide. There we go. Okay, we ready? Ta-da! Here we go. Oh my goodness, isn't that cool, you guys? So here we've got all 3 layers inked up. And I'm going to rinse these right away because we are going to use them again on another card. And I want them to dry. And all you do to clean these is rinse them off. That's how easy they are to clean. There's no scrubbing involved, nothing, just rinse them. And then I've got paper towels to dry them with. Okay, so now we have those mats that we have for the soft seafoam. Make sure my hands aren't too wet here. I'll go and wreck our pretty picture. Okay, so now remember, I just put that little bit of glue, just a very tiny bit of glue there. And all I'm gonna do is wiggle it off. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna put my mats together. Hopefully straight, right? And you can leave these flat, or you could pop each layer up. It's completely up to you. I'm just gonna leave mine flat. Now you're gonna wanna make sure that you're lining up your designs. And I already made a mistake. I do one every time. So I shouldn't have glued this piece down yet, but I got ahead of myself. And it's not on straight. Let's see how well I can pull this up. Okay, we'll try this again, guys. I'm gonna bring in my tear tape. I like to use tear tape when I use ribbon. Here we're using the linen thread. I just have a long piece that I folded in half. I'm just gonna go kind of along this bottom edge of this top piece. Now we'll glue this back on again. I get ahead of myself, I know. We'll center this a little bit better this time, I promise. All right, then we're gonna bring in our card base. I can glue this down now. Then we're going to bring in, I cut a little label from the new Unbound Love dies. And these are the little leaves from that. So this little circle was from that, and these leaves. And I cut them out in the soft sea foam. And of course white for our label. And we're gonna bring in a little bit of Wink of Stella here, because everything's better with a little bit of Stella. Okay, we're gonna bring in our Pretty in Pink and our stamp set. I had it over here. I think I do this every class, you guys. It's hiding underneath my masks. And I'm going to put just a note with Pretty in Pink. Now, for those of you who have been around in stamping for a while, was Pretty Pink a color way back when? I feel like it was, but I'm not quite sure. Looks like I have a little bit of fuzzies here. And I just use my scissors and gently just kind of take it off, make an inky mess. Hopefully I don't have pink ink everywhere. And this sentiment just fits on here. But you could use any sentiment that you would like. Then I'm going to take a little bit of a glue dot here. And I'm going to put my leaves kind of on the top and on the bottom of my label. So just like that, we'll bring our card back in, pop this up, of course. And I put it off in the corner, and then we have a little tiny bow that we'll use our glue dots for. And then trim him up. And I don't mind having my ribbon a little frayed on the edges, especially my linen thread. I like it to have a little, I don't know, I feel it gives it a little bit of a rusticness to it. So all I do is just kind of untwist it the opposite way that it's twisted and just kind of feather out my edges like that. Now, I also like to do this. You don't have to do this, but I like sparkles. So I have my Wink of Stella that doesn't have a whole lot in it. We're going to bring that in, and I used my scissors or my bone folder, and I am just going to splatter it all over my card. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see this on screen, but it just gives it some texture. You can see there's a little dot right here, just an extra added element. One other thing you could do is you could take this white mat, once you get all these glued together, and you could run it through an embossing folder too, and give it another layer of texture if you wanted to, okay? Then we've got to do the inside of our card. So I brought in a piece of petal pink and a piece of white, and I'm going to leave a sentiment off of it, but I will bring, we have a little flower in here. I'll just stamp in the corner. And I of course forgot my markers, so, and I could line it up with the mask, but I cleaned them already, so we will just stamp this in the corner like so, and then I will use a marker and fill that in later. Or another way you could do, since I forgot my markers, is to bring your Wink of Stella in Now you can take and put ink by pressing it into the cover of your ink pad. Now, I will tell you one thing that I don't like to do that, and that's just my personal preference. And you'll see when I watercolor, it makes a mess inside of here, and can also, any extra water that you have in here when you're watercoloring goes into your ink pad and actually dilutes it a little bit. And sometimes, like I've wiped it out because there's too much ink in that, your fibers from your paper towel and stuff will get in here and they actually can go into your ink pad. So I prefer not to do it that way. I used to do it that way all the time, but then I had fibers and I just felt like my ink pads got messy. So I'll show you another way in a moment. And because I only need a tiny little bit, I'm just going here in the corner, lifting up some of that color, and I'm coloring it in. Now some people would be mortified that I am just sticking my Wink of Stella pen in, but how often do we actually use the very corners of our ink pads? And now make sure when you do that, that you're wiping off your Wink of Stella pen between colors. So a little bit of yellow, and we'll bring in our soft seafoam. And our first card will be complete. There we go. Move this stuff off to the side. So what does everyone have going on today? It is a beautiful day here in Wisconsin. I think it's supposed to be about 70. We had some pretty good storms roll through, a lot of thunder and lightning, and quite a bit of rain at time. It was pretty heavy. But today it looks like it's gonna dry up and be beautiful out. So there we go. Our card is complete minus, I almost forgot, we need some gems, right? I bring all these containers over and then I don't know where I put things. Okay, I thought the butterflies looked really, really pretty on this, so that's what we're going with, the brush butterflies. And I like to use my scissors, but you could definitely use take your pick tool. Like so. Okay, card number 1, officially done. What do we think, guys? I'll bring it up a little closer. So you can see all those different layers bring in dimension to your roses. Okay, so put that all aside. The next card we're gonna do, we're gonna be using our blends. We're gonna be doing some Puppy Parade. So, once again, we need that big giant stamp, and we're gonna bring in our Memento ink. I have to say, this stamp is a handful. And I kind of tilt it and go off into the corner here. And once again, make sure you use firm pressure on your stamp before you lift it off. For those of you that have the Stamparatus, this would be a great stamp to do that with, so that, you know, if you didn't stamp this clearly, you could go right back over it. We no longer carry the Stamparatus, but that was a great tool. And there we go. It stamped really, really well. And actually, while I have it out and I'm stamping, I'm going to bring the inside piece in, and I'm going to stamp a small section right here in the corner. There we go. Isn't that pretty? You're welcome for the reminder. Honeybee Stamping Hive, that's all it shows me, but what is your name at Honeybee? And Jean, you forgot, you got rid of your Stamparatus. Oh no. Good thing I hang on to things, you know. I will say I'm not much of a hoarder as far as things in my life. Like, I can easily get rid of clothes and things like that, but my paper crafting is a whole nother story. I do hoard that. I will admit it. Okay, so for our blends, got a whole bunch of blends to bring in here. We got some Poppy Parade, Lemon Lolly, Daffodil Delight, Shaded Spruce, and some Flirty Flamingo. Well, welcome Tashana. I hope it's Tashana or Tashana. I'm gonna go with Tashana. Correct me if I'm wrong. So here we go. Time to color. Now, I will kind of work both ways. Most of the time, I work with my dark color first and work my way out light. Sometimes I'll do my light and then do my dark last. But in this case, I'm definitely going to start with my darker colors and then work my way lighter. So I'm going to take my dark Poppy Parade, and I like to use the brush tip for anything large. I'll use the more bold tip for smaller things, but I do really like to use my brush tip. And you don't have to put a lot of pressure, because remember, these will bleed outside of the lines. So I'm going to go on the edges of my leaf, or my petals here, and kind of where I think there might be shadows or darker colors. Sometimes depending on the flower, sometimes the outside of your petals will be darker, sometimes the insides will be darker and your outside's lighter. Just kind of depends. And then I go through with my lighter one, and I'm just bringing that color up, and I try to not make a straight line when I color, because I want things to blend. And going over your dark color with your light color also helps your colors blend a little bit better. You get a smoother transition between those colors. And then I'm going to bring in my dark Flirty Flamingo. I keep grabbing the wrong end. Oh, Carissa says they didn't have a choice. It was a court issue due to patents. Now that you say that, Carissa, thank you. That was part of the issue, but it was definitely a great product, especially when you were making swaps and stuff. That was great because you could just keep going over and over and never have to worry about the placement or if you were crooked or anything. So there we go. There is our first stamp. You can see that I have different color variation going on in here, and that's just all by going over and blending. And then I'll go through and I will take my color lifter along the edges and do that also. So I'm going to go through, color the rest of my flowers in the same kind of concept here, darker to lighter, and work my way out. And like I said, you don't need to be precise with your coloring. I kind of go a little bit of jaggedness. And I'll do this one right away while I'm and I'll bring this guy in while we're doing all this red. Does anyone have questions about the blends or how to use them or any other concerns or issues that they have with coloring? I know some people enjoy coloring and others do not. Chris will definitely be one of those. She would prefer not to color. Some people absolutely hate it. I do find coloring very, I don't know, I guess therapeutic in a way. And I'm just going light or dark to light. And going over all of the colors to make sure I get a more blended look. That's how I feel you get a more blended look, is by going over all of the colors together. What is the difference between blends and markers? Number one, blends are alcohol based. So think of an alcohol based marker would be like a Sharpie. Where regular markers are the watercolor ink that we use in our ink pads. So it's the same ink that is used in our ink pads. Now the thing with alcohol is they will blend and dry into the paper and they will spread on their own. They have a net, they kind of soak into the paper, where a marker will tend to not, I should say bleed. These will kind of bleed and blend, where a regular marker will not bleed or blend as much as these do. Oops, I forgot a step over here. And you will not be able to get this type of blending with a regular marker versus these. You can certainly try, but I believe that you will not get the same look because it will end up streaky. Now the other thing is you want to make sure that you are using a Memento ink pad. Now, with that being said, that is the ink pad that works the best with these. It allows you to blend without removing any of the ink. I have used our regular ink pads. I have used Sahara Sand, for instance, if I want to give like more of a no line effect. I have used that. The only thing that you have to be careful of is those will bleed when they get wet. And the other thing that you will find is your colors will blend together. So when you're coloring, let's say you inked it in a green color and you're going to ink in a pink color, your colors are not, they're going to wash together and maybe get a little bit muddy. So you have to be careful what colors you're using to blend. So I guess you just have to kind of know your color wheel. You want to use complementary colors. If you're using all reds and pinks, maybe ink in Bubble Bath. If you're doing more greens and blues, you could ink with a green, but it will lift that color up a little bit. So you do have to be careful with that. And the reason we don't use Stays-On ink with these is because Stays-On ink is an alcohol-based ink pad. So that will lift, your blends will lift that color off. Does that help answer your questions, Jean? Ooh, making my micro flip around. Okay, then I'm going to take my dark daffodil. I'm going to color the centers of these cute little daisies. And as far as why use the brush end versus the blunt end, that is a personal preference, I feel. It's whatever you like to color with. Now I'm just bringing in my Lemon Lolly. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my shaded spruce. Like I said, I'm bringing in and just adding some dark where I feel there might be shadows or add dimension. That's what I like about the blends. When you can blend your colors like this, it really gives dimension to your images. Oops, I forgot a daisy. And then we'll bring in our light shaded spruce and we'll fill in the rest. And even though there isn't necessarily some lines to connect like through here, I just brought that color down right to the flower. Now I can say I probably wouldn't want to do a swap card with all this coloring, but I do enjoy sitting and coloring. Or maybe I would, as long as I didn't wait till the last minute to get swaps done. Which usually if I do swaps, that's what happens. And I know a lot of you think, oh, you have to be so perfect when you're coloring. You really don't. I'm going out of the line slightly. It's okay. It's art. Remember, it's art. Okay. Then I want to add a little more dimensions. I'm going to go through. You don't have to do this, but I like to because I don't know. I think it just adds a little dimension. I think I have everything colored now. Now I'm going to go through and I am going to go in certain areas here and just highlight it a little bit. I'm actually here, I'm going to bring in my other card ones just so you guys can see up close the difference between doing that and not doing that. So look at my leaves. They look really dark, not a whole lot of dimension. Now when I go through with that color lifter, you're going to start seeing a little bit more definition. Same with my rose. I'm going to go through along those edges and make that a little bit lighter. And you just see how that adds a little extra dimension to your flowers. And when you do use the blunt tip, it does make a squeaky little noise. Don't be afraid of that. It's okay. Now remember though, you do not need to push hard with these markers. If you do constantly press too hard, you will kind of ruin the tip of your markers. So just be gentle with your markers a little bit. Give them a little love when they're used. Okay, and then I'm going to use the brush end in my flowers. And I just feel like this makes it pop. But that's, oh, I'm wiping it on my good page here. My personal preference. And of course, what do? We need to add some Link of Stella on top of this. So I'm going to go through and add a little sparkle. Now, if you don't like sparkle, that is okay. You do not have to add that, but like I said, I believe Stella is one of my best friends, and we like to go on our cards. Oh, and see, this is what happens too. If you aren't paying attention, like I wasn't paying attention, I was just showing you guys how to color. They do bleed through. Your regular markers don't bleed through. Your alcohol markers will bleed through. So I'm gonna have to redo the inside of my card now that I have it all pretty, or put a label or something over it. But it happens. That's part of it. I make mistakes so you guys can learn from my mistakes. It's a teaching lesson, okay, guys? Just look at it that way. Okay, so now we have everything all colored. We have our label. Maybe. Oh my goodness, you guys. Sometimes when I'm on this camera, I think I am so scatterbrained. You guys must think I'm crazy. I don't know where my label is. It's right here in my bucket. All right. Phew. I'm going to actually take my shaded spruce marker and I'm going to color around the edge. I'm going to go through with my blunt tip and go kind of over that line and just color the edge. I wanted a little extra color to my label. We could put it on, you know, like this, but I felt like it blended in too much. So that's why I colored the edge, just so it just gave it a little something extra. And you don't have to be perfect with this. I'm just coloring over the lines here. And I'll take the brush tip. I'll just go over the top of it. What is everyone's preference as far as a coloring tool? Do you like to watercolor? Do you like to use a blender pen, watercolor, pencils, regular markers? Do you not like to color at all? I know there's a lot of people that don't like to color. Okay, so we would adhere our inside like so, and put that in our card, okay? Like I said, I have to redo that. This, we're in here to our black piece. We're also going to bring in our gingham black, and this is the black and white. We did carry over the black and vanilla, but they're very similar. So I just wanted to use this up. So I'm going to bring that in. We're just going to put this across the bottom. Like that. Make sure it's on straight. And this is Unbound Love is what I brought in, and I brought the happy birthday from that. I thought it was great way to show you the labels from that set. and the happy birthday, which like I said, that was a must-have stamp set because I feel it has a little bit of everything. Carissa says she loves them all. Still trying to figure out watercoloring though. Well, that's up next, Carissa, so stay tuned. And just because I do something one way does not mean that that's the only way to do it. We all have certain ways that we do things, and that's okay if you prefer to do yours a different way. I thought I could stamp with this little flower on. I can't. I need to be able to see everything. Okay, so now we have our label. We will put that on. I get some things out of my way. I've got too much stuff sitting here in one small space. And as always, I'm sure most of you have seen Christine do. Don't let those edges go to waste. Use up those edges of your dimensionals. And because my ribbon is in the center like that, I really should put these dimensionals on the top and bottom. They will work out better that way. Okay, so we're gonna put this on our card. And then in one of my recent videos, someone had said they have a bow maker, but they don't know how to use it. So I will show you how to use that in just a moment. Okay, so we have that adhered to the front of our card. We're gonna bring in our bow maker. Now, depending how far away, so you have all of these circles here, and you have your 2 nails. Depending where you put your nails will depend on the size of your bow. Most of the time, for most of my cards, I use this one here, and I use this one. Those are the 2 that I use most often. I'm gonna have just enough ribbon here, look at that. Okay, you're gonna place it around your nails. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit for you guys. I hope I didn't make you guys sick. So I've got it wrapped around my nails, like so. And I think I did a bigger bow here. Okay, and I have them crisscross. So I went and I crisscrossed. Now I'm gonna take this piece and go over the top, like so. Go over, under, and around. Now I have my 2 pieces here, and we're just gonna tie them. Make our loop, and we're gonna tie it. And then you pull it. See how my ribbon is going like this naturally? That's what it wants to do. So I'm actually gonna take my tails and move them like this because that's the way the ribbon naturally wants to go. So then I'm just taking my tails here. And a lot of times I push this up so that my tails are down here. Otherwise, sometimes your tails go up higher. But this is how I get my bows to lay pretty nice. And then your bow is all made. So it's really easy to do. Way easier than trying to make a bow yourself, right? And then I like to use glue dots. Put that off to the side like that. And of course, we cut our tails. And I used up a whole roll of ribbon like that. Yay. Nothing like you using up your product as much as we don't. I'll put this back to normal there. There we go. But I have a spare one to go, so, it's okay when we use up stuff when you have a spare, right? Okay, so now we have these gems over here. These are the iridescent rhinestone jewels. And I thought these would look really pretty, help this card pop a little bit. We're just putting 3 of them here, just like that. So there's our really pretty card. This would be your inside. Like I said, I oopsied on that. So there you go. Chris says that better now that I remembered to zoom out. Thank you. So, okay, so we have card number 2 done. Okay, so I'm going to set all of that aside. I have a little bit more workspace here. I like a clean workspace. All of a sudden it gets out of hand and I can't find anything. And then you guys see me going, where is this the whole time? So I try to clean up along the way. Alrighty, let's do some watercoloring. Ta-da-da! Oh my goodness. Did I not bring... All right, I gotta see if Christine has watercolor paper. She probably doesn't have any down here. Oh my goodness. I had it set out. I set it aside and I didn't put it in here. Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna take a pause for a few seconds and I'm gonna see if I can find some watercolor paper. Let me just message Christine quick. I don't wanna go and see if she's sleeping or needs anything. I really wanted to show you guys how to watercolor, and that would be really bad if I can't show you guys how to watercolor. In the meantime, I guess I will pull this in. I'll see if Christine responds to me. Like I said, I don't know if she's sleeping or doing any of that, so I don't really want to bother her. If she has some, it's probably not in the hive. It's probably in the house. So I don't want to wake her up, and I might have to just do a separate video for you guys if I don't hear back from her. That makes me so sad. Or I'll pop on and I'll do another video right away if she has one here. So in your kits, I gave you a full sheet of watercolor paper. So apparently in my kit though, I didn't give myself one. So I already stamped in Memento ink and cut it out, not thinking that I thought I'd save a step while we were online, and cut this out ahead of time, but then I realized I wouldn't have anything to put my mask on, so or to tape the mask on. So we're gonna try it this way and hope for the best. Make sure my masks are dry from our previous card. Like I said, I just take paper towel or a towel after I've rinsed them, and then I dry them, and they're ready to use again. Have any of you played with the masks before that we've had? We've had definitely several over the years. You could also use these to make a background on a scrapbook layout also. If you're looking for DSP for your scrapbook layouts and you don't have anything that you like, you can always create your own using the masks. Okay, so these are all dry and ready to go. And we're going to tape these down once again. Along the edges so our paper doesn't move. And we're going to bring in mask number 1, and we are using fresh freesia with this card and petunia pop. And then once again, I have the number that's embossed facing up. And now that I have this on, I'm going to mark it so I know where my mask goes. And then I will print my mask down. So the first color we're going to use is our fresh freesia. And I'm going to do that very lightly. So I have inked off. We're going to bring in mask number 2. Use our washi tape and bring in, oh no, we're going to use fresh freesia again, and we're going to go a little bit darker. Okay, and then we will bring in our petunia pop. And I don't get so worried about using my brushes, especially when, you know, one right after the other. I'm going to wipe it off, but they're very similar in tone, so I don't worry about that affecting my page then. Oops, we need number 3. And the easiest way to tell if you're lined up is with number 3 is that it has the centers for all your daisies here. So that's a really easy way to know if you're lined up correctly or not. I'm going to stamp it off just a little bit. I can always add more color. This does have a lot of color to it. And I'm doing my centers, the petunia pop, but I'm doing them full strength here. Okay. Then my other 2 colors for my leaves are going to be Old Olive and Granny Apple. Okay, so now line that up again. I'm going to bring in my green brush here. Use my Granny Apple. We'll fill in our leaves. And if you're not a person that likes to color, these masks make it super easy. Okay, so that's my Granny Apple. Looks like I missed a little bit here. There we go. And our Old Olive. Now another thing to remember, it doesn't matter because I cut this die out, but make sure that if you, like on the last card, we stamped it up on our mat, make sure that your entire edges are covered, whether you put a post-it note or whatever, because you could get color then on where you don't want it. So there we go. Now we have our card. So if you wanted to cut out, let's say, a bunch of these already, here's your template. You could just keep sticking in your flowers like that instead of waiting to cut them out afterwards. That's another option for you. Okay, so now we have our piece all cut, ready to go. So we're ready to bring in our card. Our card base is 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Okay. So we're gonna set our little floral image aside. You have a granny green piece here. That's your traditional mat, I believe. Oh no, it's not. It's a little bit bigger. So our granny green here is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then our white piece here is, oh, let's see which, 5 1/4 by 2 7/8, and then we have a 1-inch piece of DSP here that goes over here. So we're gonna stamp the inside here. What am I doing this one? Oh, I did a Mother's Day and grateful for you. I'm not sure what I want to do on the inside here, so we are just going to leave it blank, and I didn't cut this right. Should be 5 1/4. And 2 7/8. I got the 2 7/8 right. I just didn't. So that is going to go right here, like this. And then your strip of DSP is going to go on the side of it. So Carissa, what are you up to today? Are you working hard? And you could use either side of the DSP. That's completely up to you which side you would like to use. I'm going to adhere this to the inside of our card, and I just moved my piece of DSP over while I was gluing here. Okay, we're just going to leave it. Hope for the best here. All right. Then I have another piece of Granny Apple to go on the outside, and I've embossed in this really pretty folder. And our Granny Apple should be 2 7/8 by 5 3/8. And I might have switched my pieces around, and that's why things didn't line up. This is what happens when you do your cutting at night when you're tired. Okay, so we're going to bring our card in. I will fix this later, so I'm only going to put a little dab of glue. Like I said, I make these mistakes so you guys can learn from mine. And then this will go on the front of our card. Then we're going to use dimensionals. Carissa, you're working and listening. Well, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. So your piece is going to hang off like this and go over your card. So when you put dimensionals on, you want to make sure that you're not putting dimensionals over here, just over here. And if you were to do this, let's say if you wanted to color this with blends, all I would do is cut out another white piece, just like this. So I would cut this piece twice, once with it stamped and once with it out, and just adhere that piece so that when you flip it over, you don't see all that ink that is on the other side. You got both masking kits and you haven't used them yet. Well, now it's time to break them out. Now, another thing, I didn't do that with these masks, and I believe you would have to allow time, or time for it to dry in between, but you could use embossing paste. Color your embossing paste different colors, you know, lighter shades and darker shades, and do all that. And you'd have to wait for them to dry to get each layer. And that's why I kind of didn't do that on screen. I should have made a card and just showed you what you could do with it if you wanted to take the time. But the masks, you would need time to let it dry between each mask that you do. And we're going to stamp "Grateful for You." And we're going to snip off the edges. I think I cut them wrong, but that's okay. Nope, I did it right. Probably because I turned my paper upside down and I'm all flustered because I forgot stuff. Put a little bit of glue on our granny apple strip, and I'm actually going to leave that edge straight on this card. I angled it. You can decide which way you like it better, but I'm going to leave it straight once. Maybe cut one edge off a little bit so I don't have as much. Like that. Then we will take our tear tape we're going to take our strip of ribbon and just fold it in half and put it on the back. And then you can angle up your edges and put some dimensionals on the back to pop it up. Layer it like so, and of course, more Wink of Stella. And this one, we're just going to put rhinestones on the center of some of our flowers. I'll put a big one here. Put one down here. And one there. And there we go. Here is card number 3. Now I have not heard anything back from Christine, so I don't want to bother her. So I will look around and see if I can find some watercolor paper, and so I'll end this video, and then if she has watercolor paper, I will come back on right away and we'll do that one last card. If not, I will come back and do a video of that card again. I'll just make sure that the hive is available. I don't know what the schedule is in here. I might come back yet today to finish that up. So stay tuned, but thank you so far for joining me today. I'll bring in those 3 cards again. So here are the 3 cards that we made this morning. So using all different coloring techniques. We use blends, ink, and then we're going to do watercoloring. So if, like I said, you don't want to use basic white to do your coloring. I just don't feel basic white works very well. It pills up and it bubbles up, and you don't get a very good look. So you really want to use watercolor paper when you're doing your watercoloring. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all of you being here, and I will look for some watercolor paper, and I will be back to shoot another video using the watercoloring technique.